fancy intro music. Yeah! Woohoo!
I'm really sorry, Star Trek fans. I truly am. There will be no additions to this month's event store, so let's go ahead and make a video anyway. We'll cover all the things that you should buy and what has value if you're looking right now, but sadly, nothing's getting added. So why we got asked to get feedback and everything? Who knows, except maybe, I don't know, a couple of fancy things that have shown up in the pack store? Well, we're not going to talk about that today. We might be a little salty, but we'll press on. There's still a ton of stuff that could be valuable to you in the game today if you are looking in the event store. We're going to look at both my level 46 account and my level 29 account, talk about different things that you could go after. Now, baseline of what you always want to look for in the game is something that has a long-term value and things that are not easily sourced to you or at all free to play. So that means we're looking at officers that are either ridiculously hard to get or maybe aren't available in a quick path free to play. We're also looking at ships and even technologies like refits, things like that can really alter the game in a positive way. So let's talk about the event store just straight up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through every bucket and I will say whether this is good, whether this is bad. A lot of these that pop up, these specials, I would not recommend. They don't have a lot of value in them to me for what you're getting for here. We can do rough calculations. We can actually break out the calculator if you want to, but usually these aren't going to be worth a lot. You know, mega cubes have no purpose really in the game anymore. These don't have really a purpose in the game anymore. This is trash thrown in just to fill a bucket. And then you have a couple of solo armadas, which really aren't useful to you unless you're 40 plus anyway. And then two officers that are meh. One being less than meh, in my opinion, and one being good. But again, would you spend 120,000 for it? No. So most of those you're going to tend to ignore. The armada one's decent. Let's go into this bucket, but let me go ahead and tell you that I don't recommend anything in this bucket. Because if you do decide to math it out, if you want to be that guy or that gal, and you actually try to calculate epics, rares, and uncommons you would get for the amount that you're spending, you are not getting as much as you would get in a month. These do not have good values. This entire bucket is a no. I don't ever recommend anything in this bucket. Let's move over to officers where we do find value. In fact, this is, in my opinion, the most valuable object in the event store. No matter your level, if this is available to you, you should get it. If you don't know why, really encourage you to check out the video we did covering why Hue is so critical, pun intended, to your gameplay. And let me put it this way. I know this is going to sound almost sensationalist, but he is the best Armada officer in the game in its totality, as in long-term. Yes, Pipe Moro Chin, very, very valuable. Pipe Moro Chin, amazing. I'm not saying Pipe Moro Chin is not still arguably the best hostile grinding crew for the average player. It's not even arguable. It still is. But we're talking long-term, like we're going into the future. Yes, you do still want to have your pikes and everything, and you want that. But in terms of what you're going to use level 1 to level 60 to even past level 60 for hostile grinding, Hue is Hue is the most valuable option available as a player, and you should most totally go after him. Even if that's just unlocking him. Then the question becomes, should I tier him up? Like if I have Hue already, should I then see him as so important that I tier him up? Short answer, yes. Long answer, not if there are other things that you could get at the same time. So when I say at the same time, not if there are other things that you need. Like if you don't have a Mantis, which we'll talk about in a second. If you don't have a Meridian, get those instead. But in terms of just simply unlocking, yes, because as you tier him up, this ability increases. So level 1, it's a 45% below deck ability to crit. But if you max him out, it's 100%. He guarantees crits. Now, he basically guarantees crits at round 2 forever anyway. But just to make it better, stats, RNG, etc., get Hue. And price-wise, he's not terribly expensive. Average free-to-play, we're looking at loot. I know a lot of you are always commenting and curious. Looks like free-to-play is going to end up with around 450 to 500,000 loot. Not as much as we had last time, which was 600,000 for free-to-play, over $1 million for spenders, but still enough to get Hue. Now, Galinar, in my opinion, worthless. Goza, worthless. Dazok, worthless. Officer Picard, super niche. Not something I would go after, especially with the way PvP is in the world right now. Officer Picard Beverly, useful. Not as useful as other things, but I would say if we're talking like ranking, this is A tier, like A plus. This is somewhere in the C plus to B minus range. This is a C, and then this is meh. The Assimilate officers, some of you might like, and even Galinar is okay. That below deck ability, but most people would rather go like by Tau. So meh, 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 yes, and meh. Assimilate really doesn't have much value unless you've purchased 7 of 9. Frames and avatars have the value of the individual built into them. You either like these or you don't. So I'm not going to take time to really value them or devalue them. Ship parts. Remember, the only way to get extra like fascia regulators and stuff is in here. I would not go after some things. Like if you need more fascias, this is the only way to get that other interlock you're looking for. But generally speaking, I don't really encourage almost anything in here. I just don't think you need it. If you have extra stuff in the game, like you have spent all your event store currency, you just need something to blow on, then you can get you some ship parts. Special currencies, some of these have value, some don't. Axionic chips, no. Trade XP is very valuable to every player in the game, unless you've already maxed out your, traits for various missions. If you've hit all those criticals, well, freaking more power to you. You're doing amazing. Tetrons, no. Elite cultivated mycelium, yes. If you don't already have the Disco Go-Go Juice saved up, this is a good pack and a good overall value. Culver Particles, no. Cloak Racketeers for research, no. Don't get this. This is literally worse than the other one down the road, but I mean, it's cheaper, so I guess if you want to go that route, you can. And then all these are no's except for these two. Syndicate XP always has value, and you also have the independent credits. So these are another area where if you want to dump extra into, you've got left over, go after that. Let's move another to the ship blueprints. This is going to be something I'll cover pretty big. If you do not have a Mantis, get a Mantis. There is no permanent sourcing for the Mantis currently in game. If you do not have one, get one. Also, on that same note, scroll down here a little bit. If you do not have a Meridian, get one. There is no public sourcing in the game besides event stores for these two ships. So get them now if you do not have them. To the point, I would say, if you had to choose between Hue and then unlocking the Meridian at 25, you should probably go Meridian first, just because it's going to be so important for your research, even though you desperately want Hue. You'd love to get both of them, but odds are people are not going to be able to afford cost for both of them, which is what, 75,000? Yeah, 75,000, right? One is 5, that means 20. So no, 150,000. You might be able to squeeze it depending on how your ALBs and SLBs have gone. Vidar, if you want to speed up your acquisition of some ships, fine. If you want to get a second or even a third Stella, that has value, but that's C tier value. A tier is the Meridian. A tier is the Mantis. And sadly, nothing else like the ISS Jelly or anything is getting added in tier. And I will say, if you're looking for Pylum, Newton, etc., it does help to pick up 35 here if you have extra. But again, I would look at things like Syndicate XP, independent credits being more valuable. And then finally, ship refits. There are a couple in here that are. I am big skip on all of these. These are fine if you just want them. People ask me, am I going to have a noticeable difference with a, what is a 200% base mitigation boost to everything? Meh. These are fine, but they're not priority for me. B tier. Katinga refits, Valdor refits, etc. Not valuable to me at all personally. The only things that I would say are super valuable are this refit, because the current Thursday Apex takes so long to unlock it, and it does have good value long term. For those that don't remember what it does, as a higher level player, it'll allow you to exchange your Stella scrap for 5-star materials. Now, is it the greatest thing in the world? No, but it does have value, and it's a sourcing mechanic. It'll take you a lot less time than Apex will on Thursdays. So I would encourage you to check that out. But this is I'll probably say a B tier, where maybe a lot of you are looking at Pylum cloaking or cloaking for these rare 46s, the 50s, etc. Only place to get them unless you want to whip out the wallet. So yeah, value is definitely there. It's also a B tier, though I'm personally not going to go after it. I would rather go after other things. There's a lot of little bits of value, but not major value pieces in here. But most of these are C's and D's, like Augur cloaking. To me, this is a F. I mean, it's not expensive to get it in the faction store. Would not recommend you blow event store currency on it, but that's in totality. That's everything that we have in the event store. And As a whole, there are 4 or 5 things that are just must-have great pieces, but generally, it's a meh event store. It's missing a lot of the oomph and the extra, like just being able to micro dose where you wanted to go in the event store like you did last event store, but it does have its value still. And a real quick look, if we want to go take a look at my level 29 account, you're going to be a little bit more limited in what you can get, but not terribly limited. So you see right here, my level 29 account officers, for whatever reasons, at the end of the bucket, still have Hue available. This is a go-to. I really recommend it if you're in the 20s or 30s to get Hue. If you haven't already, remember what I just said, the ship blueprints. This is the only place to get Meridian or to get the Mantis. So you do probably want to get that first as a player, but you got to balance that value for yourself. Maybe they don't have Hue in the next event store and you think that you can pick up the Meridian in the next event store, which you can. You can pick the Meridian up in the next event store. Which would you rather wait for that and get Hue, which you might not be able to source till 40 plus? Up for you to decide. I will tell you, you can source Hue 40 plus, but it is slow. So if you'd rather get that now and then wait another 3 to 4 months for another event store, makes sense. Hopefully this video helps you out. And if you agree or disagree, well, do me a huge solid and let me know in the comment section down below. Nice little box here tells you the instructions. So remember, key things in the event store: Hue, which I've said many, many times. Assimilated Stella has value. Pylum Cloaking has value. Meridian, Mantis. These are probably the top 5 things. If you don't have those, you go for those first. Then you're looking at Syndicate XP, Trade XP, Independent credits, various skins like the salvage skins, and even officers like Picard Beverly. Most valuable long-term to your gameplay. And if this video helped you out, smash the like button. Appreciate you. Live long and prosper. Stay safe for those Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Catch you on the next one. And we're out.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.